Right, let's get started. Now, the Asanteman Traditional Council will on Thursday meet stakeholders in the KNUST impasse to deliberate on ways to facilitate reopening of the university for academic work. Now, a representative of the council and the chancellor for KNUST, Bantamahene Bafo Asari Usa Mankwetia, says that the university should not be allowed to remain closed for long. Meanwhile, the University Council is expected to meet in the coming days to draw a roadmap to resolve the issues. The University Relations Officer, Kwame Yeboah Jr., has been briefing Love News on the proceedings at a meeting chaired by the Education Minister. Love News' Erastus Asaredonko reports this.
Students have been leaving campus in batches since morning. Though a 12 midday deadline given has elapsed, there are still pockets of them on campus. A delegation from the Menchia Palace representing the Chancellor of the University, Otumfuo Osei-Tutu II, has been inspecting the devastation left in the wake of Monday's demonstration. The Bantamahene Bafo Asari Owusu Amankwetia says the Asanteman Council will invite all stakeholders on Thursday. He is going to invite the two fielding parties, the SRC, the student body, the university authorities, and they are going to sit down with them, hear both sides, and be able to dissect the issues, solve amicably whatever it is, together with government. And the most important thing he's talking about that they need is that the university will be open within a possible short time so that the students can return to school. But soon as he had finished addressing the press at the KNUST security post, some members of the local security attacked a journalist. They expressed anger at what they claim constitute biased reportage on the disturbances on campus.
I realized someone just hit me at the back with something. I couldn't see that. And to attack
yes,
me.
Yes, that was what they were about to do. So I was preventing them from popping up on.
Meanwhile, the Vice-Chancellor of KNUST, Professor Obri Danso, has been meeting with the Education Minister, Matthew Opoku Prempeh, the National Security Coordinator, Kandapa, and members of RESEC. University Relations Officer Kwame Yeboah Jr. says the University Council is expected to meet to chart a path to reopening the university for academic work to resume.
So in the interim, as an institution, Council is going to meet the issue and then as quickly as possible see how best what I can say is no date has been fixed for the reopening of the university because many things would have to be put in place before the reopening. Most especially what led to the routing. Definitely some people thought the mixing of the hall is the problem.
Reporting for JoyNews, Erastus Asaredonko, Kumasi.
A government delegation that visited Kumasi to deliberate over the rumpus at the Kwame Nkrumah University of Science and Technology has concluded its meetings. The delegation, comprising the Education Minister and the Information Minister designate, were involved in a series of meetings and also visited the KNUST campus. Education Minister Matthew Opoku Prempeh addressed the media shortly after the meetings.
We have met the university management, we have met the Security Council, and we have met the students. We are going to collate our views and you will hear from government.
That's the great minister.
You will hear from government.
All 6 workers who were injured in, forgive us, but this is a next story. All 6 workers who were injured in Monday's accident at the Legon Mall here in Accra are still on admission in hospital. 2 of them, said to be in critical condition, are at the 37 Military Hospital, while the remaining 4 are at the Legon Hospital. Now, 1 other worker died in the incident after a floor that they were forming with concrete collapsed. Patronage of the mall itself has declined significantly when JoyNews visited on Tuesday, while the workers there expressed concern about their safety. Here's what Maxwell Agwagba reports.
We're currently here behind the Legon Mall where the incident happened yesterday. One of the beams that came crumbling down is still hanging there. We understand some scaffolds also came crumbling down with 6 workers getting injured in the process. 1 worker died. The injured were rushed to the Legon Hospital. Some of them were told were later referred to the 37 Military Hospital. Police officers have cordoned off the scene here. There's no worker in sight. This place looks deserted. Now, if you go inside the mall itself, the Tesbury supermarket, which is quite a busy place around this time, is also closed. There's a notice put up by the EPP bookshop informing their clients that they will not be open for business today. They say business would continue tomorrow, and that is because of what they describe as structural issues. The only shop opened here is the Ernest Chemist. They are the only people open for business. I overheard one of the workers saying that he definitely would have to be walking around with a helmet after this incident happened. Some personnel of the Ghana National Fire Service are saying that there were no safety mechanisms put in place for the workers who were working on the extension of this mall. They say that is why there were casualties yesterday. All the people we've seen here are tight-lipped on the issue. They don't want to speak to it. In fact, the managers of the mall are also not available to speak to us on the issue and exactly what they are doing to comply with some of the directives issued by the Ghana National Fire Service. We're still waiting to hear from them, but not much of activity is happening here at the Legon Mall.
Now, forgive us, we can now go back to that original story we were doing and add even more information to it. Kojo Apon-Nkrumah, the Information Minister designate, said that the team that visited KNUST campus will report back to President Akufo-Addo.
That the government delegation has been in town engaging with various stakeholders, the university authorities, council representatives, student representatives, to understand what has happened. You know that ordinarily the university is semi-autonomous and they handle their own affairs, but it's become obvious that these matters have not been contained at that level, and so now there's a need for higher level intervention. We have finished our first level consultations. We are going to the campus also to see and engage for ourselves, and then we'll report to the president, and once clear decisions are made, we'll announce to the country where we are going with that.
You said high-level interventions. Can you give us what you mean by that?
An intervention beyond that of the university. Okay? Thank you. Bye.
Well, the Fisheries Commission has assured the authorities of money to contain the suspected case of fish poisoning at a Chinese fish farm at Isuchari. Several tons of fish were found dead at the farm in an accident that has caused many to stay away from the tilapia fish and its delicacy for fear that some of the contaminated stock may have made its way onto the market. Executive Director of the Fisheries Commission, Michael Atadazi, however, says the authorities have their situation under control. The latest report is from Ifwa Evans Chinri on the subject.
The tons of fish which died under strange conditions were buried under supervision of the Environmental Protection Agency. The EPA has, however, ruled out poisoning as cause of death. Executive Director of the Fisheries Commission, Michael Atadazi, says investigations into what might have caused the mass death will be out in 2 weeks. He, however, assures surveillance is ongoing to ensure the suspected contaminated fish is not consumed by the public.
Insofar as the information got to us and the proactive measures that we took, what we chanced on, everything was buried. But like you said, if some had gone out there, I think it behoves every Ghanaian to examine the fish you are buying. No, I said it behoves every Ghanaian to examine the fish that he or she is buying. Now, we have engaged the fish processors on the lookout. We are also telling the Ghanaian, the members of the public, to also examine the fish that they will be buying. But so far as we are concerned, what we chanced upon, everything had been buried. And we have made sure that the place is under police surveillance, so that there wouldn't be any human scavengers going there to exhume.
Minister for Fisheries and Aquaculture Development, Elizabeth Afolikwe, has meanwhile underscored the need to ensure the fisheries sector is free of child labour and trafficking. She was speaking at a signing ceremony of an anti-child labour and trafficking strategy.
This national anti-CLAT strategy represents a consensus of stakeholders' views on how to comprehensively combat child trafficking in our national fisheries sector. The approaches in this national strategy are designed to put in place the effective protection of children and prosecution of offences relating to child labour and trafficking in cooperation with other ministries, the police, and our national politicians, regardless of party affiliation. In this strategy document, we outline strategies for eliminating the child labour and trafficking. Specific strategies outlined in this paper include child rescue, rehabilitation, reintegration, and prevention strategies.
The signing ceremony between the Government of Ghana and the United States of America is to increase effectiveness of fighting child labour and trafficking.
Now, the neurological department of the Greater Accra Regional Hospital says it is alarmed by the number of road accidents victims who undergo surgery at the unit. A surgeon at the facility, Dr. Emmanuel Yao Vuado, describes the situation as worrying. He made this remark when a humanitarian group led by the wife of the vice president donated neurosurgical supplies to the hospital on Tuesday. That group is called CEP, and there is more in this report.
Senior neurosurgeon specialist at the Greater Accra Regional Hospital, Dr. Emmanuel Yao Vuado, revealed that most cases that undergo surgery at the unit are largely due to road accidents.
We attend to as many as 20 patients per week because of road traffic accidents, but we get to operate on 5 in the most busiest weeks. The motorbike riders are young. Their victims are the elderly and the children. Because they are young, they don't have all that money in the world to pay for their brain surgeries or their spinal surgery. So those two injuries are very, very expensive. And when they get themselves involved in that or their victims get involved in that, it becomes very difficult for we the doctors because they become a burden on the system.
Meanwhile, wife of the Vice President, Samira Baumia, is cautioning motorbike riders to adhere to safety measures such as wearing of helmets in order to mitigate the impact of road accidents on victims.
We at Samira Empowerment and Humanitarian Projects are partnering with the Turkish Embassy and Turkish Cooperation and Coordination Agency, TICA, who have gracefully provided this equipment. We hope this will go a long way to boost your work and to support your department, which is the neurosurgery department. I had a little conversation with the management of the hospital, and I'm finding out that the neurosurgery patients are predominantly victims of motorcycle accidents, and so this is a cause for worry for all of us. And I hope to take this opportunity to encourage everybody. In fact, we should say that everybody should make sure that they have a helmet whilst riding motorbikes.
Turkish ambassador to Ghana, Nesrin Bayazit, is optimistic the equipment donated to the facility will be put to good use.
every success, and I hope that this will be useful for the hospital, and we will of course continue in our cooperation in health.
The Samira Empowerment and Humanitarian Project is a non-profit organization established with the purpose of empowering the underprivileged in Ghana through diverse social intervention projects.
And before we go, construction work has resumed on the dual carriage road connecting Sokode-Gbogame to the Volta Regional Capital Hall. The project, which started in July 2016, was expected to be completed in 18 months and stalled just after 3 months when the John Mahama-led government failed to honor a 10.5 million Ghana cedi certificate rate for work done. The Minister for Works and Highways, Kwesi Mwakwata, has meanwhile announced that government has paid some 50 million Ghana cedis out of 18.5 of work done, hence the resumption of the project. Well, we'll bring you more on that. Bakwejo, that'll be it for the latest news headlines we have for the morning.
Yes, indeed. And of course, that means coming up next is the newspaper headlines and then sports, and then loads and loads of juicy content for you on the AM show.